paper 1, setting. Okay? So this is what we want to know today, so that you don't get confused as to which paper you are preparing for and which topics you need to do. So Kcse paper 1 tackles 10 areas. So these 10 areas, you're supposed to be well conversant with them as to concept, formulas, and everything that pertains to them, so that you are then able to handle a mathematics paper 1 properly. So the first area that is normally tested in Kcse paper 1 is the area of calculus. Calculus and related areas. And this is a topic in Form 4. So when you are preparing for paper 1, know that one question will be in section A and perhaps another will be on section B from this area. It is called calculus and area estimation. So this is a topic in Form 4. So you should expect one question in section 1 and another in section 2. So this area covers the trapezoid rule. You know them. That when we are talking about area estimation, we are talking about trapezoid rule. We have mid-ordinate rule. Yes, so these two areas are under area estimation. That's a topic in Form 4. And then when we go to calculus, we have areas like differentiation. We have areas like integration. We have areas like kinematics, where basically we deal with the application of differentiation and integration. So as you revise for your paper 1, give attention to calculus and area estimation, and these are the key areas that are normally tested. So be sure that you have the concepts right so that you're able to tackle it. Another area that is normally tested in paper 1, that is area 2, is basically bearing, scale drawing, survey, stroke construction. So this is also a place where you are sure you must have a question in section B, either from bearing or scale drawing or survey or construction. So as you're going to tackle these areas, you have to know bearing, which is a Form 1 topic, scale drawing is a Form 1 topic, and construction is a Form 1. We also have another construction in Form 3 under tangents, and then lastly we have the loci in Form 4. So expect a question from this area in section B. So this is very important that when you are revising, you must capture these areas as I am listing them. Another area that is normally tested is the area of statistics. Statistics. And majorly it is statistic 1. This is a Form 2 topic. So in statistic 1, you are expected to look at areas like mean, mode, median. Again, you're supposed to look at things like histogram and frequency density. As you are revising for these areas, ensure you know how to get the mode, mean, median. You know how to construct or draw a histogram and a frequency density. So that is also an area you must expect a question in section B and also in section A. Another thematic area is measurements and trigonometry. Measurements and trigonometry. So we know measurements, majorly they are in Form 1 and Form 2. Under measurement, we talk about area of triangles, quadrilaterals. Much of these are in Form 2 and regular polygons. We have these areas. So under measurements, we have things like areas of triangle, quadrilaterals, and regular polygons. Regular polygons is in Form 1, area of triangle and quadrilaterals is in Form 2. So you look at that area. Then again in Form 2, we have surface areas. Surface areas and volumes of different things like cones, hemisphere, sphere, cuboid, frustrum, etc. And pyramid, yeah. Pyramid is very important. Pyramid and prisms. So this is a topic in Form 2. You can ensure that under measurements, especially things to do with areas, volumes, and surface areas, you know the exact formula. So we'll be going into that, but just as an overview, know that this is an area tested in paper 1, and most of the questions, they form bulk of section A in paper 1. So ensure you have enough preparations as to this area is concerned, as much as this area is concerned. So when we go to trigonometry, under measurement, you also have mass, density, and volume. This is a Form 1 topic. So ensure you get the volume right, the units of conversions right, so that you are able to apply them when they are tested in the exam. And then under trigonometry, you are going to learn, or you must master concepts in complementary angles, I think trigonometric ratios, the SOHCAHTOA, Form 2. That's a Form 2 topic. We're also going to talk about special angles. Special angles, Form 2 work. And then you're going to talk about application of sine, cosine, sine and cosine rule. And then you're also going to talk about the trigonometric ratios. So it is very important to understand that under measurements, you are also going to be tested on these areas that I've listed here. So we move to the next. The next thematic area in Kcse paper 1 is called vectors and transformation. Vectors and transformation. Vectors and transformation. Under vectors, you need to know things like position vector. You need to know displacement vector. You need to know magnitude of a vector. You need to know operation of vectors. You need to know collinear, stroke parallel vectors. You need to know unit vectors. You need to know the ratio theorem. You need to know the scalars. Form 2 and Form 3 work. We have vector 1 in Form 2 and we have vector 2 in Form 3. So that is what you are supposed to know as much as or as far as vectors is concerned. And then when we move to transformation, this is a Form 2 topic. You're supposed to know reflection and all that appertains to it. You're supposed to know rotation. This is a Form 2 topic. You're also supposed to know translation. Translation, Form 2 topic. And you're also supposed to know similarity and enlargement. So you'll get one question in section 1 and another in section 2. So ensure that when you're preparing for paper 1, be sure to go through the vectors and understand the concepts that appertains to it. Another thematic area in paper 1, Kcse, is the part of equations. So equations range from quadratic expressions. This is a Form 2 topic. Quadratic expressions and equations. This is a Form 2 and Form 3 topic. Then you move to simultaneous equation, Form 1. Simultaneous equations. That's a Form 1 topic. Then we move to equation of a straight line, is a Form 2 topic. Equation of a straight line. It's a Form 2 topic. You will also look at linear inequalities. Yeah. Form 2 again. Form 2 again. And this forms the bulk of paper 1, equations. That is why paper 1 is very wordy. So you're supposed to internalize and apply concepts that are taught in quadratic expression, Form 2, and quadratic equations, Form 3. You're also supposed to know simultaneous equations, how to solve them. That is a Form 1 topic. And you're also supposed to know how to solve questions to do with equations of a straight line. That is a Form 2 topic. And linear inequalities is equally a Form 2 topic. Now, we move to another area. That is ratios and proportions. Rates and proportions. Rates and proportions. So here, you look at things like linear motion, you look at things like commercial arithmetic, arithmetic 1. Arithmetic 1. You look at things like rates and percentages. This is a Form 1 topic. You look at things like simple rate of work. Those are Form 1 topics. Fractions and decimals. Yes. They form bulk of section 1. These rates and proportion, where we have linear motion, we have commercial arithmetic, we have rates and percentages, we have simple rate of work, we have fractions. They form bulk of section 1, paper 1. So before you go into that paper, ensure you have a mastery of the concepts around those areas. We also have other areas that are normally tested. We call them minor areas. Minor areas. We have other minor areas that are normally tested. Number 1 is indices and logarithm. Indices and logarithm. That is number 1. Indices and logarithms. Indices are Form 2 topic, logarithm Form 3. We have common solid where you draw the nets and water view. Common solids. We have numbers. Numbers. Or rather use of tables. Use of tables. So if you look at these areas keenly, then you're very sure that everything you're going to meet in paper 1 is what you actually prepared for. A number of students fail because they revise for paper 2 instead of paper 1. That is why I found this very significant, that before we start our revision, you must understand what is tested in which paper and what do you actually need to prepare for. As you can see, or rather from the look of things, you can see that a student at Form 2 can handle comfortably a paper 1 exam. Because if you look at most of the things here, they are basically Form 1 and Form 2. And I tend to think that 80% paper 1, 80% is Form 1 and 2. And the 20% are basically Form 4. So therefore it means that Form 4 maybe and Form 3. Form 4, Form 3. So it means that a Form 2 student who is well prepared can score up to 80% of paper 1. The 20% are left for Form 4 and Form 3. So this is a paper where you can actually score everything. But again, I have to tell you that paper 1 is very wordy, and therefore it needs the skill of actually applying. Here you can't cram. That is why many people fail in paper 1, because they cram the formulas, but how to apply them in real life situation becomes a problem. Unlike paper 2 is always straight to the point and it is less wordy.